Hello to anybody out there watching. My name is Kevin Clouther, and I am a fiction writer in Omaha, Nebraska. I teach fiction writing at the University of Nebraska-Omaha, where I direct the MFA in Writing, our graduate program in creative writing here. I find it in any number of places, which I imagine is true of most people, but one of the places I find inspiration is actually in words themselves. I studied Latin as an undergraduate, and I think I was supposed to fall in love with the stories and myths that we were translating, but what I actually fell in love with was understanding how the language itself worked. That's what's really stayed with me all these years. And so I see a word like inspiration, and I can't help but see that root of spiritus, meaning breath, and the idea of inspiration in English today coming from that Latin word for breath, which was probably first formed 25 years ago, 2,500 years ago. Something really cool about that to me. The way that language stays with us and changes and becomes a part of our lives and is rooted in the way that experiences move through the body. I find that inspiring. For me, it's all part of the same mysterious organism, which I don't pretend to understand very well at all. I've been meditating for the last 3 years or so, and one of the mantras that gets shared over and over is that everything is simply happening. In consciousness, we're just participating in this experience that we can't necessarily understand in a really meaningful level, and we are not behind our faces, we are not inside a brain and inside a skull. We're all just existing in the world, and in that way I guess I'm not a very good Cartesian. To me, the brain and the body are just one and the same. At least that's how I feel about it now. My favorite word is the way E. Cummings uses carefully in a poem that I've loved since the first time I read it, called Somewhere I Have Never Traveled, Gladly Beyond. And the line is, the snow carefully everywhere descending. The idea that snow falls carefully is just so exactly right to me. The first time I read that line, I couldn't believe how accurate it was. It seemed like something I'd been thinking about my whole life, although I'd never put language to it. And that adverb, carefully, I think the way E. Cummings uses that word in that poem is my favorite word. I'll reference another poet, even though I'm a fiction writer. I read a lot of poetry. Larry Levis, one of my favorite poets, and he said in an essay that the meaning of life is that it stops. And that's maybe not a particularly unique take, but that particular articulation does seem right to me. Directing the MFA in writing at UNO is the most rewarding career move of my life. For most of my life, I taught undergraduates, but when I came to UNO, I started working with graduate students and directing the program. And the thing that's so meaningful about the role to me is that I'm really able to play a part in the lives of so many different students and teachers in terms of helping them to actualize their professional ambitions. And as I get older, helping other people to realize their creative projects and convert what's in their minds into something on the page that might then in turn be meaningful to somebody else on the other end as a reader. It's the greatest gift that I've been given as an employee, and I'm thankful for it every day that I teach and that I walk on this planet.